What is going on, Steeler Nation? This is your boy, Big B, Brian Hanley, and welcome to Steelers Almighty. We are live again. Appreciate you guys joining us, man. Steelers Almighty again. Fastest growing Steelers channel on YouTube. We appreciate everybody being in here, man. We got a lot to cover. Took a little hiatus, but we're back today. Last day of training camp was today, so we're going to cover some stuff today. As always, I know we got to talk about Brandon Aiyuk. We just have to do it. We have to do it. It's still alive and it's still relevant, people. Lord have mercy. It's driving me insane, but we still got to do it, man. Training camp, like I said, it ended today, last day of camp. Doesn't mean they're still not technically or in training camp, but they're just not going to be at Latrobe any longer. And then Russ and Fields, we're talking a little Beanie Bishop actually today. I'm gonna make this change here, but we are talking some Beanie Bishop stuff. Let me make that change real quick. But yeah, we're talking Beanie Bishop today and his battle for the slot receiver. So boom, boom. We got to make some stuff on the fly. Appreciate y'all being here, man. So we'll get to all of this good stuff and more. Again, remember, Steelers Almighty, fastest growing Steelers podcast on YouTube. Anywhere that you get a podcast, remember, we always got the podcast coming out on Wednesday. Remember to like, follow, subscribe, and always leave those comments. Love going back and forth with you guys. Let's get into this, man. So here we go. Brandon Aiyuk, again, the trade is back on. Hey, this is the trade that just won't die. This is like that never-ending rumor that just won't freaking go away. Lord have mercy. It's just one day it's on, then it's off, then it's on, then it's off. Then, a deal is imminent. No, the 49ers want to sign him back. They're in contract talk. It just, oh my God. I was done with this a week and a half ago. And I thought the Steelers would put some sort of deadline and just say, hey, man, shit or get off the pot. 48 hours. Let's go. Do you want to make the deal or do you not, 49ers? And then 49ers, nope, we're going to try to sign him back. And now I think from all reports that it seems like the choice is now up to Brandon Aiyuk. What do you want to do? It looks like the 49ers have a deal. They're not exactly – it hasn't been set in stone, but they're working towards trying to get a deal done. And so they've got something on the table. If he says no, the Steelers have agreed in principle to a trade. So I'm just like, well, come on now. First of all, does Brandon Aiyuk want to play football? Let's just start there. Does he want to play football? Because at some point, this is what it's about. The main thing's got to be the main thing. Go play some football. Do you want to be in San Francisco or do you not? And if you do, sign and move on. I understand what he wanted, but look, man, they offered you to go out and find the type of money that you wanted, and nobody was willing, other than the Patriots, it seems like, to pay you that kind of money. Well, so it is what it is at this point. You can either stay or go. And if I'm the Steelers, I just say, hey, man, we've moved on. We've moved on. What else is, what do you want us to do? We agreed to a trade. We want to trade for you. Do you want to be a part of the Pittsburgh Steelers organization or do you not? That's where if I'm the Steelers brass right now, I've got my doubts. I'm hesitating because, hey, man, you spent all this time. You went on this woe is me tour talking about the 49ers don't want me no more. And I just want to get paid. And I love the Steelers. Okay, well, now the Steelers want you. And here's an opportunity to go. Well, I don't know, and maybe, and possibly this. I'm like, oh, my God. Just the drama of it all is just nauseating. Like, come on, man. Yes. First of all, let's go over some of these details. And I know we've heard them all, but I'm going to go over a few of them first. Some of the BS that we heard out there. I love Pat Freiermuth. I love him. I think he's going to have a big year with the Steelers this year. But you are lying to yourself as a Steeler fan if you don't believe that if it were Pat Fryermuth and a second or a third round pick, one of the two, for Brandon Aiyuk, the Steelers would have done that before the 49ers could have got that out of their mouth. They would, yes, we're doing it. Absolutely, we're doing it. Now, again, there's going to be some of you diehard Steeler fan. Oh, no, we love Fryermuth. And we do. Brandon Aiyuk is better than him. End of story. No ifs, ands, or buts. Brandon Aiyuk would help the Pittsburgh Steelers more than Pat Fryermuth would. That's just a fact. I know we get attached to our guys. He's a Steeler. We drafted him. He's going to have a big year, it looks like. We want to re-sign him. But if 49ers came calling for Pat Fryermuth, the Steelers would have done that in a heartbeat. That was never on the table, people. Don't believe that. That was not on the table. Okay? And then the whole rumor about, well, they want either Fryermuth or George Pickens. Why would the Steelers trade Pickens? They'd be in the exact same situation. It doesn't help them. So we got to just move on. Lord. But yeah, all this, I heard it all weekend. Pat Fryermuth is in the deal for a second or a third rounder. I'm like, that's not true. It's not true because the Steelers would have done it. And we would have just dealt with not having a high-end tight end because we got two big-time wide receivers. We would have made do. We absolutely would have made do. Better yet, Juju came on the market. We could have signed him as a quasi-tight end because you know he can't play outside anymore. And boom, we would have figured it out from there. Come on, man. That's what I'm saying. We gotta stop believing all the crazy rumors. It's basically down to, does Brandon Aiyuk want to play for the Steelers or does he want to play for the 49ers? And at some point, don't these organizations have to set a time? Hey, do you want to play football or do you not? You got 24 hours. Make a decision. And if I'm the 49ers, at that point I say, hey man, screw it. We're not giving you anything. If you want to play football, it's going to be for us this year and it's going to be for this amount of money. Take it or leave it. That's it. And maybe that's harsh, but I don't think it is. First of all, if I'm the 49ers, that's what I would have done all along. Hey, I'm trying to win a Super Bowl. Brandon Aiyuk, you're a big part of that. You're not going nowhere. You want to play football this year, it's with us. If we got to lose you after that, fine. But you know what? We also have the option to franchise you for the next 2 years. You can be disgruntled, but if you want to play football the way that the NFL has it set up right now, you're going to play for us. That's it. 3 years, end of story. Deal with it or don't, but that's the way it's going to work. And I would have been done with it. I wouldn't even have discussed it. We don't like Cincinnati as Steeler fans. We think Cincinnati is a ragtag organization, and they are. They are. But you know what? I respect what Cincinnati did with T. Higgins. We're franchising you. We're not going to negotiate a new contract with you. I think he's getting like $21 million this year. That's what we're going to pay you. We're not going to pay you next year, but you're going to play for us this year. That's it. There are no ifs, ands, or buts. They didn't waffle back and forth, And again, you may think it stinks. I think it stinks. You get franchised. I don't like that. And guys not getting a long-term deal. Having said that, first of all, to the normal person, $21 million, even if you cut that in half, you can't figure out the rest of your life with $11 million. Yeah, you can. But either way, bottom line is I like how Cincinnati approached it. This is it. This is what we're doing. End of story. There is no negotiation. So you can sit out all this time if you want to. It's only going to hurt you when it comes time to getting a deal done because you're not going to be in the best of shape. You might get hurt immediately. So you can sit out all the training camp and sign it if you want. But just know that if you do, we're still not going to sign you to a long-term deal. 49ers should have done the same thing with Aiyuk. That's what I would have done. Bottom line, the Steelers they got to just move on. Stop. It's almost like the Steelers are just playing second fiddle and are the side piece in all of this. And I don't like the Steelers being a side piece. I don't like it at all. It seems like we're just the carrot hanging out there. And I'm like, come on, man. We're better than this as an organization. We don't need to be the 49ers or Brandon Aiyuk's side piece. Either you want to be here or you don't. Move on. Jiminy Christmas. And that's all that it comes down to. But here we are, still talking about it. Still, and again, another report came out today. Lord have mercy, talking about, well, a deal is in place for the Steelers. Now it's down to Brandon Aiyuk. Does he want to be a Steeler? Does he want to be a 49? The 49ers are still working on it. They've almost got a deal done. And if that's the case, and Pittsburgh was the pawn in all of this, as much as I respect Omar Khan, I would have lost a ton of respect. I will lose a ton of respect because you know what Omar Khan can do right now? We are no longer interested in Brandon Aiyuk. He could just say that. Put that out there. The Steelers, just like Cleveland said it, New England said it. Well, that was after, Aiyuk turned them down. But you could just come out, hey, man, we are no longer interested in Brandon Aiyuk. Come out and say it. And just be done. And if something comes back, it'll obviously come back in your favor if it does come back. Just be that and tell the agent, sorry, man, he waited too long. We've moved on. We've moved on. We apologize. We wanted to be a part, but you played too many games with us. We're the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're not going to play games with us. Thanks, but no thanks. So, and that's just kind of how it is, man. Let me go to some comments here. Can we go ahead and just grab Adams and leave BA? I mean, I don't think what the Raiders are going to want for Adams, I think is too much, but I don't disagree. Because first of all, Adams is better than him. Let's just start there. But I don't think the Raiders are going to want a lot more for Devontae Adams than what it would cost to get Brandon Aiyuk. They're just going to want more than that. Why? I don't know. The Raiders need football players. I get it. Devontae Adams, one of the best receivers in the league. He is. But he isn't going to help. They're not going to win this year. And he isn't going to help. He can help us. He absolutely can help us. So I would take it. But you're right. You're right. So I love this commentary. I'm with you. So let me finish this off though. Said GP is the number one receiver in Pittsburgh. The way that Van is playing right now, PS for life. AK 75-7 Steeler man. Yeah, man. Van Jefferson's not playing bad. I like it. I could take it. Let's just move on, man. Let's be the Steelers. Let's not be the side piece, okay, to the 49ers and Brandon Aiyuk. And let's move the hell on. Let's do it. I'm tired of it. Just tired of it. So we're going to move on. We'll move on. So what else we got? I saw this. I know you talked about Adams. CeeDee Lamb is not for trade. CeeDee Lamb is not. I mean, the Cowboys are not trading him. Okay? Just because Jerry Jones is coming out and saying they're not in a hurry to pay CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb's going to play football this year. He's trying to bulldog his way into getting a new contract. They're not going to give it to him before the season starts. And the reason why is because they're not going to do anything until they do Dak Prescott. And they're not going to do Dak Prescott till after the season. CeeDee's going to have to play on his contract this year. That's just the way it's going to be. So if he wants to play football and get paid, he'll show up in the first game of the year and he'll go out there and get paid. But no, the Steelers can't trade for Lamb because the Cowboys aren't going to do it. The Cowboys are not going to do that. So what else do we got? My man, Pastor Jay. What's going on, sir? Yeah, Ian said out of his mouth, a deal has not been agreed upon with San Fran and Aiyuk, but San Fran wants to keep him, but is on Aiyuk. Our deal is already agreed on. And that's the part that I just don't like. I know I talked about it a minute ago. It's like, why are we agreeing on a deal? And if we agreed on the deal, then the deal needs to be done. I'm not agreeing to anything until Brandon Aiyuk says 100% yes, I am going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. When he says that, then I will say, okay, the deal is done. But we're not agreeing to nothing until that happens. And you don't have to do it beforehand. You don't have to. You don't have to do that beforehand. So my question is all these leaks that are coming out, Lord have mercy. It just, I don't know. I'm just tired of being the side piece. I don't like being it, man. Let's move on here. So training camp, you know, no practice yesterday, last practice today, nothing really exciting today. Um, I don't know, man. Training camp's over. I guess technically they're not at Latrobe, but training camp really isn't over because we're still in it. Um, we're still in it. Preseason game number 2 is going to be coming up on Saturday. I think that's a big one. I think it's a big one. The offensive line, it looks like that got solidified, hopefully, because Troy Fautanu is hurt. They said he could possibly be back for week 1. But let me just ask you guys this. The way that the Pittsburgh Steelers, as of late, have dealt with their offensive linemen, their high draft pick offensive linemen, I'll throw that out there. Is there any chance that this guy's going to play week 1? No, he's not. Hell, he may not even have been the starter come week 1. So now that he's hurt, I don't think there's a chance that he plays week 1. Now, let me backtrack. There's a chance. If he's healthy enough to play, he needs to play. But Broderick Jones is going to have to step up. I'll tell you what, I wasn't impressed with what now after that first preseason game with Broderick Jones at right or left tackle. I'll be honest, it was pathetic. It was pathetic. So he's going to have to get it in gear. A little bit of that could be, hey, man, why do y'all keep messing with me? Put me at a position so I can go. And maybe he needs to speak up and say that if he hasn't already. But, yeah, he's got to play better. Playing the Bills, he's got to play better and show that he can go out there and go a little bit. So I would like to see that get solidified a lot more. What do y'all think about Mike Tomlin not naming a starter for the preseason game? What are y'all reading anything into that? You know, again, Steelers Almighty, we're fans, and I don't know that I'm reading a whole lot into it. I think it's just still a lot of coach speak. But the one thing that I think Russell Wilson's got to play. I think he's got to play. And if Justin Fields is actually the starter and then Russell Wilson plays, I think that means something, people. I do. I know that you're going to say, come on, Big B, you're being a conspiracy theorist, which you always said you're not going to be. All I'm saying is if Justin Fields takes the number, starts that game, and Russell Wilson comes off the bench, it's a problem. It's a problem. I mean, I can say that. It's a problem. So I I like it. I said from the beginning I wanted Justin Fields to win the job. I've screamed it. And maybe he's gotten the opportunity to win. I don't know. There's a lot of people that still like Russell Wilson, that think he's the guy, that Fields can't play football. There's a whole lot of people out there, a lot of Steeler fans out there that still believe that Wilson's the guy. Me personally, I want Fields to win the job. But if Russell wins the job and plays well, I don't care. Y'all know me. I don't care. It is what it is. It is what it is. So that's my personal opinion on everything. Is it just is what it is. Let Justin Fields go win the job. But I do think this: if Russell Wilson ends up starting the game, I think, and plays just decent, then Russell Wilson's won the starting job. That's what I think, because I don't know that a whole lot of Steelers are going to be playing in that third preseason game. I don't think a whole lot of starters, I should say, not Steelers. I don't think a whole lot of starters are going to be playing in that third preseason game. I just don't think that's going to happen. And if it's not going to happen, well, there you go. That's my personal philosophy on it. I could be wrong. I know we saw the first unit offense play in the game last year in the third preseason game against Atlanta. That's what got everybody so excited, even though they were going against backups. It got all of us excited about Baby Hands Pickett. And, yeah, then the first game happened, and we fell on our face, and we were treading water on the offensive side of the football the rest of the season. It was ugly. Ugly, 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 ugly. But So I'm interested to see that battle. I'm interested to see exactly what happens. I want to see it. I want to see. Good practices are going to be coming up too because we're going to have a joint practice with Buffalo. Now nobody's allowed in, so that makes it a little bit different. So it'll be hard to get the info that we need to get, but they'll do the interviews. We'll find out a little bit about what happened. Both sides will do some interviews, and we'll get to kind of ingest a little bit of what that joint practice with the Bills looks like before the preseason game. I'm looking forward to that. Should be good. Should be good. But I like the Fields battle. We're going to move on here. Look, Beanie Bishop, it looked like it was his job at the beginning of the year or the beginning of camp. It looked like he had taken control of that slot corner job. First preseason game comes. I didn't think he played bad. I mean, I thought he was fine. Next thing you know, come the practices after, freaking Graylin Arnold has taken the majority of the first team snaps since then. Now, Beanie Bishop is still getting in there, but it's been Graylin Arnold that has taken the majority of of those first team snaps. Now, I did hear a report that Mike Tomlin, and look, this is good coaching, says that he wants to hey, when adversity hits, how do you respond? And that would be some adversity. I think I got a starting job. All of a sudden, they put somebody in front of me. Do I sulk? Do I go in the tank? Or do I say, oh, really? You put this guy in front of me? Well, I was starting before him. There's a reason why. I'm going to show you again. That's the kind of attitude that we need out of Beanie Bishop, man. That's that kind of attitude that we need out of him. If he can do it, I like it. I absolutely like it. So, if he comes through and just says, I got this, I got this. Okay? I understand adversity. I'm attacking. I like it. So, but we'll see. We will see. But Graylin Arnold, playing good football. So maybe got a couple of guys, which is good. You need a couple of guys. It can't just be one. It can't be just one. And if they're good in the slot corner, maybe they can play outside too. That just gives the secondary even more depth, which is a good thing. You can never have enough depth in your secondary. You just can't. You just can't. So, let's go to some comments here. My man Mark says, I'm tired of how they keep Tomlin treats the offensive line. Yeah, the offensive line thing is tricky, man. I don't understand. I'm like, the general manager has come out and said that Broderick Jones was going to be our left tackle. Is he that bad? Do we have to now start thinking that Broderick Jones isn't a left tackle and he's not any good? Is that what they're trying to tell us without telling us? Because look, people, we've seen Dan Moore. We've seen him play left tackle. It doesn't look good. It just doesn't. We've seen it. For 3 years, we've seen it. I think Dan Moore could be one of the best swing tackles if he chose to try to play right tackle in the league. A great backup. But he's not a good starting left tackle. He's just not. And you're telling me that you can't let Broderick Jones be over there full time? I think that's something we got to start to think about, Steeler fans. That's something we really have to start thinking about is, well, shit. If Broderick Jones can't beat this guy out on a consistent basis, maybe he isn't that good. Maybe he isn't that good of a left tackle, and that's the problem. I don't know. That's just my thing. Maybe it is. And if it is, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to be disgusted if Broderick Jones isn't a good left tackle. I am going to be disgusted. But I think we got to have to actually start thinking that. That's got to go through our mind a little bit is that, oh my God, we've seen Dan Moore Jr. for 3 years. We know it's not any good. Broderick Jones is supposed to be the left tackle of the future. The general manager came out in February and said so. Here we are in August, and he still can't beat him out for the job? What? And I know people are going to say, well, hold on, Troy Fatano's hurt. Otherwise, no, it isn't. Stop. We've been watching. Roger Jones has been the starting right tackle, going on and off with Faetanu, but Dan Moore's been at left. Oh my goodness. And you can't switch tackles in the National Football League. Professional football doesn't work that way, man. Put the guy over there and let him work. Let him get the reps. Let him do his thing. Oh. Oh well. Oh well. We'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. A comment here from a man Terry says Justin hasn't played under center before. Yeah, he played under center in Chicago a lot. That was the Ohio State days, man. We can't give him that excuse. That's not an excuse. He played under center all 3 years in Chicago. That's not an excuse. He just has to be better. You can't be dropping quarterback center exchanges. You just can't. You just can't. And I'm not even saying it's all his fault, but 50% of it is. So my man Joseph says, I heard Broderick is a heck of a run blocker and not so much in pass protection. That's why they want Troy on the left when healthy. Well, Joseph, here's the thing. First of all, you're right that he's an outstanding run blocker and his pass protection needs work. We know that just because we watched the football games last year. You know, so that part we know. Having said all of that, I mean, Troy Faetanu hasn't played left tackle a day since he's been at Pittsburgh. So, and he was healthy before. So if he was healthy and they wanted him to play left tackle, he would have just been at left tackle. There's no reason for him to be at right tackle if they thought that he was going to be a left tackle. So the second part, I don't necessarily agree with. The first part, I 100% agree with. We saw it. So we saw it. Sir, yeah. They've been talking about Brandon Aiyuk and the 49ers being close to agreeing on an extension for the last, I don't know, 5 days. We get it. We get it, my man. We understand. They've been close. They've been working, you know, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Corey Trice, yeah. Corey Trice is looking good. We're going to have a podcast that comes out tomorrow. We'll be talking about some of the training camp hit or misses. But Corey Trice is one of those guys. He's hit, and he just needs another opportunity. I think this game 2, is going to be big for Corey Trice Jr., man. I think it's going to be big for him to get out there. I think it's going to be big for him to get out there and show what he can do. He just needs an opportunity. Trust his knee. He's got to trust it. And if it's healthy, and it looks like it's completely healthy, otherwise the Steelers wouldn't have him out there, you know, for him to get hurt and they have to pay an injury settlement or something like that. They're not going to do that. So now it's a mental thing. Get out there, get the reps back in. I like it. And again, it just adds more depth. It just adds more depth. He's a bigger athlete. He's a good corner. He can play outside. I like it. I like it. My man Ryan Watts, y'all have heard me talk about him a million times. He keeps flashing, doesn't he? Ryan Watts keeps flashing. I'm going to talk it into existence, aren't I? Damn it, I'm going to talk Ryan Watts into existence. I thought he could be the starting slot corner. Now, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But he can be a great special teams guy, backup safety. I like Ryan Watts. I'm going to talk that into existence. The man is playing good football right now in training camp. Good for him, man. Good for Ryan Watts. Good for Ryan Watts. So, what else do we got here? Nothing? Nothing. Well, yeah, the Steelers. Look, this preseason game number 2, I think is big. I think it's big. We talked about quarterback position. What are we going to do there? We talked about at slot corner. We talked about the battle there, the offensive line. That's kind of been solidified. I still think we need more from wide receiver 2. I still think Van Jefferson's got to start doing some more stuff. The job right now, obviously, it looks like it's his. Let's see what Calvin Austin can do. Let's see what Calvin Austin can do. Or is it already solidified that it's Van Jefferson's job? I want to see Darnell Washington be more involved in the passing game in preseason game number 2. I want to see more Darnell Washington out there. We didn't see a lot of tight ends, and maybe they're probably not going to show. Maybe they won't show a lot in preseason with Freiermuth and Darnell Washington. We saw a little bit of Connor Hayward. I love Jack Coletto just smashing people as a fullback. They keep talking about he may or may not win the job, and I'm like, I don't even think that's up for debate, is it? Like, he's on the roster, isn't he? Or he should be if he isn't. So I think that's kind of a guarantee because we want to use a fullback. So a lot of 20, 21, 22, 23 personnel. I love it. Absolutely love it. So we'll see what happens there. But I think it's a big game. I think the joint practices are going to be good because, again, who knows how much you get and how much you see in a preseason game. But I still believe the preseason game is going to be huge. This week coming up is huge for the Steelers to try to solidify some positions. We got to get out healthy, just like every single football game, every single practice for that matter. Let's get out healthy, but let's go attack. Let's go attack. Let's get physical on some stuff. But yeah, man, I'm just over the Brandon Aiyuk stuff. And I don't want to talk about it, but I have to because it's still relevant. It is still relevant. Now, again, I'm at the point to where I'm like, okay, enough's enough, but it's still out there. And like I said, it looks like it's up to him. It looks like it's up to him on what he wants to do. And now he's got to make a decision. I'm like, shouldn't you have already had a decision made? Like, did you want to be in San Francisco? Because if you did, and you're working out the details, why is Pittsburgh even involved? You know what I'm saying? If, hey, you know what? Okay, we've got to the point to where finally we're going to negotiate with this guy. And then it should have just been, okay, he wants to go back to San Francisco. But is he trying to keep the Steelers on the hook? So in case San Francisco comes back with a number that he doesn't like, he can just say, you know what? No, I'm done. I don't like being in that position. I don't like the Steelers being in the side piece position. Matter of fact, I despise the Steelers being in the side piece position with Brandon Aiyuk. I don't like it. Don't like it one bit. I don't think it's productive. We're also getting late in the game. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's the middle of August for crying out loud. And he's still not on our team, but he might be. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. Just as a reminder, man, every Wednesday, we have our podcast coming out during the season. We're going to be live after every Pittsburgh Steelers game. If you'll notice down there where it says new podcast every Wednesday, there's a little kiosk that's going to pop up here in a minute. It's going to give you a number, and that number is going to be the number that you guys can call in on, give your statement, ask your question, leave a rant, whatever it might be, and then we're going to play it. I'll respond to it on our podcast, man. So remember, that is going on every Wednesday. So remember, once you get that number, start calling in. I'd say start calling in next week. We'll have everything up and running. And then boom, 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 baby. Like I said, leave your rant, your comment, whatever it is. We'll play it on the show. I'll respond to it. We'll do that weekly as well. We appreciate everybody that's been out. Again, Steelers Almighty, fastest growing Steelers podcast on YouTube. I appreciate all of your all support, man. Super chats are always wide open. That helps you, number one, get you pushed to the front of the line. We appreciate the support for any super chat. Thank you very much. So, and it helps you also run the conversation because if you're going to be on the front of the line, you're going to get it every single time you're going to be up here. So, my man James Wilson is a 49er enthusiast, so he loves the 49ers. Okay, we get it, my man. We get it. We get it. We get it. My man Mike, yeah, Pittsburgh is thinking we're okay either way. I don't know, but maybe. I mean, I think the Steelers are going to be fine one way or another. We don't need to have Brandon Aiyuk to be a good football team, but don't kid yourself. If he's on our team, we're better. I mean, let's not kid. And it doesn't matter if we had to give up Pat Freiermuth or not. We're still better. We're still better. So that's it. That's it. So, my man Mark, what do you got here? I believe Watts and Wilson will ball out this year on defense. I mean, the coaching staff is in love with Peyton Wilson. He played great the other day. I want to see him get even more reps with the ones and see what happens. But it kind of sounds like that E-Rob has the job solidified already. Tomlin said, yeah, this is starters aren't going to get a whole lot of playing time. And E-Rob was part of that. I'm like, so we're not going to give Peyton Wilson an opportunity at all to take that job? Oh, and to me, that's a mistake. It's a mistake. And again, E-Rob is a great tackler, but we know he's not good in coverage. And Peyton Wilson can tackle, and he's good in coverage. So I don't know. To me, I think that's wild. But the last few years, I just haven't been happy with how the Steelers have handled rookies anyway. So this kind of seems like this same mold that we're just going down this same mold. What about Zach Frazier? Why can't he have the center job? He's looked better than Herbig all week long. He looked better than him in the preseason game. Come on, Mike Tomlin. What are we doing? What is the point? The man needs to be the starting center now. I mean, Jiminy Christmas, man. Why do we have to wait? He's looked better. He's just looked better. Oh, so yeah, my man, we talked about an offer for CeeDee Lamb. The Cowboys aren't trading CeeDee Lamb. So there's no reason to make an offer to Dallas. They may have called him, and Dallas probably immediately told him no, but Dallas isn't trading him. That's not going to happen. Just because they're not negotiating with him doesn't mean that they're going to trade him. That doesn't mean that. Doesn't mean that at all. So you haven't heard any type of smoke about him or Devontae Adams. We haven't heard any of that. So I don't think any of that is going to happen at all. At all. But I am looking forward to this preseason game too. Again, after the game, we will be live right here doing exactly what we're doing right now. Talk about exactly what we saw, what we like, what we dislike, what was good, what was bad. We'll talk about all of that, all of it. And we don't have to agree either. I could see something and say it, and you say you don't agree. It's fine not to agree. We're not going to be disrespectful to each other. I'm never that. But we don't have to agree. And I also think it's better sometimes, most of the time, if we don't agree. Gives all our points of view. Again, Steelers Almighty is a fan page by a fan. I am not a journalist, never going to be a journalist, don't want to be a journalist. I'm just a guy that loves the Steelers, that knows a lot about football, man. And I can talk to you guys about football. Love it, love it, love it. What else do we got here? So, don't see a whole lot else, man. Don't see a whole lot else. Anybody you all are looking forward to preseason game number 2? Anybody you guys are looking to pop? Somebody that's on the fringe or maybe not being talked about enough. I brought up Darnell Washington. I want to see more out of him. I want to see more out of him in this game. We know he can block. I mean, hell, I wouldn't be upset if the Steelers didn't throw another 20. Because, first of all, Darnell Washington is not no 270. He's easily 295. Steelers throw another 20 to 25 pounds on him. I wouldn't mind him being a tackle. I wouldn't. The way he blocks, whew. I wouldn't mind him being out on the edge, blocking people. Wouldn't mind it, not one single bit. So, we'll see. We will see. Yeah, the Steelers definitely need another defensive lineman next year. The Steelers will be taking a defensive lineman with the first pick in the draft, or with their first pick next year. That'll happen. Or it should happen. Should happen. Getting a little long in the tooth in the offensive line. But hopefully DeMarvin Leal keeps playing his butt off, because he's played good on OTAs, mini camp, training camp, preseason game number 1, made splash plays. I'm excited for that young man. I'm really excited for him. It looks like the light has finally come on for Leal, man. So And Dean Lowry has been hurt all this time. Steeler fans are going to like him. He'll be in the rotation. He's good. He's good. I think he could have went other places and started. He's good. I don't know if he'll play in the preseason game. Like I said, coming off injury, he's a veteran. So we'll see how much he actually plays, but he's good. So, all right, man. We're going to shut this one down for today. I appreciate everybody being in here. Again, as always, Steelers Almighty. We got our podcast coming out tomorrow. Make sure you guys are there for the premiere. Comes out at 8 Central Time. Appreciate you guys. Number one there. Remember to like, follow, subscribe. The reason that we are the fastest growing Steelers channel on YouTube is because of you. We appreciate you. Thank you, as always. And if you could do me a favor, outside of this video, go make a comment. Tell your buddy that's a Steeler fan. Go make a comment. All that good stuff. It all helps us, and we'll keep pushing these things out to you guys, man. We appreciate it. I'll holler at you, and we will talk to you soon.